Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Eddie Marcus here again. Spokesman and advocate, basic human rights for all people. Tonight, I'd like to speak on the subject matter, children of God don't live too long. The reason they don't live too long is that they know that Satan runs the system. They know that the President of the United States is evil. All of them are. They have to be evil to get the job. The councils are evil. Trilateral Commission, Council on Foreign Relations, Bilderberg, the Illuminati, the Masonics, all of those secret organizations, they are demonic. That's why they are secret. Otherwise, they would be transparent. Children of God know that. They know that evil is growing. And they are the only ones that know it. As children of God, you don't just get the knowledge, you have to speak out. And for that, evil must get rid of them. You think about the false flags that causes or give reason for blind people to allow all kinds of things to happen to them. For some strange reason, this nation supposedly was founded on running from oppression. And for all of those 200 years or so now, we have worked ourselves right back to the state that we were in when they were running from the other nation. Now they are a repeat of the nation that they ran from. Even though the founders of this particular institution were not perfect, and they weren't saved, but they were running from what they consider as being dangerous stuff. And they wanted to protect at least this system from the beginning from that dangerous stuff. And they came up with the Bill of Rights. And now we have that evil that have trampled on the American public who are absent God, to the extent that all of those rights are basically gone now. You used to could go on the internet and click on something that you wanted to hear or study, and you could go straight to it. But now it's infested with commercials. And I also hear that the ownership has changed. It is controlled by the UN or some other institution. Also, you have heard it said over and over again that people who love God act different. I was referring to some material on the YouTube social media earlier, and I found out that your largest churches, they are all champion the same thing that rich people do. Osteen supposedly had one of the biggest churches, and camera spanned across the audience. It looked like they had an auditorium, maybe an arena, basketball arena, filled from the top to the bottom. And every last one of them are going to be there voting for a Republican or a Democrat. Evil. You got T.D. Jakes, one of the richest, whatever his congregation is. You can bet your last money they're going to be there voting for evil, Republican or Democrat. Cliff O'Dollar, and a whole bunch of other names I never even recognized that have the billions of dollars and the planes and the limousines and the mansions, and they are congregations that are going to be voting for evil. Well, somehow the God that I am committed to tells me that people are important. I remember people trying to get money. They'll do anything for it. They'll lie, cheat, steal, do anything. But they tell me people of God will try to expose what's going on and will stand and give an audience an idea of what it means to be a child of God. And nobody cares. I remember when Dr. King was alive. He served the people well, and the people appreciated it. At the same time, they were trying to cause dissension in the ranks. And his wife, she was more or less into the same thing that the rest of the world was into. And this commitment that King had was nothing that she really appreciated, and King knew it. People close to King knew it. And finally, King was wiped out because the people did not appreciate King. Same story happened to Gandhi. Gandhi was doing a wonderful thing for God, for truth, for love, and there was constant dissension in the ranks. Even his wife had problems because she was more connected to the carnal way of doing things as opposed to doing that which Gandhi referred to as God. Sometimes he said Jesus. And so they wiped him out. And I'm specifically reminded of the things that Malcolm X went through. I mean, he couldn't enjoy the cars and the nice houses and the nice suits and family protection that others were because they were playing the game, like Osteen, like T.D. Jakes and Dollar and all those guys. And these guys weren't. And so the wives were kind of upset. Well, you got to do something. You got to change. In other words, they were inviting them back into the system just like Joe's wife was inviting him back into the system. They didn't understand. They didn't mean any harm. They just didn't understand. They weren't touched by the finger of God. The men were. And the women did what their role was to try to suck them back in. But they were not suckered back in. And as a consequence, Malcolm X was gunned down. And anybody else who stands up for God, who stands up for truth and justice, who stands up for people being treated proper as God would have them do, will, unless God protects them, or only while God protects them. When God takes that hand of protection from them, the devil will wipe them off just like that. So you got to be ready. You can't play games with God. And so as I tell you these things, ladies and gentlemen, I've been out here for 30-some odd years. God proved this to me. I've been all across this nation talking to people. And as you go across this nation, every Sunday, every Wednesday, every Friday, they got something going on. And these people don't know nothing about God. They know something about Scripture. They know a lot about Scripture, just like Satan does. But they don't know anything about God. And that is why the world is in the condition that it is in today. That is why America is in the condition that it is today. All of these holy people don't know a thing about God. And I feel, ladies and gentlemen, I feel very clearly that since I tell you these things, I just can't talk it. I got to walk it. So I'm being given a chance in the traffic courts pretty soon. I got a ticket the other day for speeding. And there's no way I'm going to honor this demonic system that wants to take money out of my pocket. And, I mean, in addition to all the brokenness that I am, they want something else. Say, speeding, this is a fine, this is some fees that I got to pay. And Satan, you're not going to get a dime from me. I'd rather die than to give you 1 penny. And I know you are willing for me to die, so I just say that's your next move. I probably won't be missed. In fact, I will be rejoiced. So let it be as it may. I just want you to know, ladies and gentlemen, that those of you who are contemplating being children of God, you better think about this thing deeply. You can't look at the church folks because they're no example. You can't look at the preacher, the pastor, the pope, the elders, the bishops. They're not examples. They're just men wearing suits and collars, but serving Satan 100%. You guys hear me? I'm talking about you to the people. But don't worry, they won't believe it. But you know what? They will, because the devil is coming down hard. I want to thank you so very much, ladies and gentlemen, for giving me this opportunity to inform you that I probably won't be living too much longer. And that's all right with me. I just want to leave something behind. Maybe I think about my children. I think about Dr. King's children. Dr. King gave his life, and now his children are out there preaching. They might not be amassing money, like these other preachers are. But they're not walking that walk. They're just talking that talk. If they were walking that walk, they'd be dead too. And anybody else, even if the Pope was walking that walk, he's talking, but if he was walking that walk, he'd be dead too. In fact, there's no place on earth right now, as far as I know, that is open to receive people who are led by the Spirit of God. And God, knowing that you, the people, are rejecting him, will not allow that one that has come into the understanding, the knowledge, and the development, and the life, and the born-again experience to stay around in this hellhole, because hell is definitely coming unless you change it. Not the politician, unless you, the people, change it. Not the people in the church, but you, the people, because there's no difference between the people in the church and the people in the streets. They're the same people, doing the same thing, having the same results. As you can see, Republican and Democrat. Until next time, Eddie Marcus say, bye-bye.